Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and you're very welcome to Park Talton this evening for minor hurling final between Trim and Donaghmore Ashbourne. Trim going for 4 out of the last 5 championships, and probably a great time to bring in Colin O'Willouch because his Donaghmore Ashbourne club are going for a first ever minor championship today, Colin.
Yeah, it's a great time for the club, Davy. Donaghmore Ashbourne, we've never been in a minor Division 1 hurling final ever in the history of the club, so it is a great day for the club. They'll be up against it today. Trim are a great side, Davy, very, very skilled hurlers, but Donaghmore Ashbourne, they've been training hard there under the management there of Jim Ryan, Davy Gahan and Eamon Hogan as well, so really looking forward to this game. It's a little bit of a blustery game which might suit the little bit of a bigger Trim team, but it'll be really interesting to see how the lads cope here today.
Absolutely, and Henry Clifford just going through the formalities and the toss. Breeze is probably going to be significant today. It is seemingly blowing from left to right as we look at it here from the stand side. Typical sort of breeze here in Navan, blowing down towards the town end. Henry Clifford is the man in charge. He was in charge yesterday for the ladies final between Dunshaughlin and Royal Gales and St Peter's Dunboyne. So Henry, a man of great calibre in both codes, and he's taken charge of the minor final today, and there's a decent atmosphere in. Great crowd from Donaghmore Ashbourne, very strong crowd for Trim, who are going for the double today, and we are underway. We'll give you the teams momentarily, but we'll just watch on as Donaghmore Ashbourne go out onto the attack early in the piece. And here's Gavin Jones picking up possession, playing it long towards the inside forward line, and it's well cut out at source by Aaron O'Rourke. Huge hit coming in that time by Oisin Daly, but Trim managed to retain possession, and the number 26 who's coming in is George Douglas. He's coming in as a late change. He was programmed as number 16, but he is wearing 26 and he starts. Possession, as Colin says, going to be very difficult in those sort of conditions today, but Trim trying to gain a foothold early in the piece, and they've won a free just underneath us on their own 65, but a chance to get the ball up the field, and we'll run you through the teams for Trim. In goals, wearing number 1, it's Owen O'Reilly, 2 Ben Gaffney, 3 Cormac Doyle and 4 Dara Smith, 5 is Braden Curley, 6 Owen Ryan and 7 Aaron O'Rourke. Dara Heffernan wears 8 and Caleb Casserly wears 9. Daniel Murray is 10, Ty Carty 11 and Cormac Slattery 12. Trim just on the attack, and they're trying to engineer a bit of an opportunity for themselves here, and the first effort comes in via the stick of Kyle Ennis, and that's a wonderful start for Kyle Ennis. It's a wonderful start for Trim, and just to finish out the Trim side, it's Josh Ayton 13, Kyle Ennis is 14, and we're number 26, it's George Douglas. That's a fine start, Colin, for Trim. Lovely score by Ennis.
It sure is. Kyle Ennis is going to be a key man today, Davey. The 2 full forwards I think are going to be key men, Kyle Ennis and Evan O'Kane on the Donaghmore Ashbourne team. Ennis, absolutely fantastic hurler, and a good start for him.
And they've won possession from the Donaghmore Ashbourne puck out as well, and that's good work by Daniel Murray there to win the free, and it's going to be a really good opportunity for them to double their advantage here. With Donaghmore Ashbourne in goals is Sean Ward wearing number 1, Danon Donnelly is 2, coming in wearing number 17 is Derry Sullivan, and 4 is Matthew Chute, 5 is Gavin Jones, 6 Michael O'Sullivan and 7 Tom Ryan. Keane Dowling wears 8, and he's joined in midfield by number 9 Oisin Daly. 10 is Aidan Mackey, 11 Patrick Moran and 12 Michael McIver, 13 Sean McKenna, 14 Evan O'Kane and 15 Jack Keenan, and it's going to be another opportunity for Trim's top marksman Kyle Ennis to double his personal tally for the afternoon and double Trim's. They're playing against the Breeze in the first half. It's a tricky one, but he's got great purchase behind that, and he's followed through, and that's a lovely start. Some start for Trim, some start for Kyle Ennis, Colin.
Sure is, and I know as Kyle Ennis there is around the 40, so that maybe is something that Donaghmore Ashbourne won't have predicted, but interesting on a Donaghmore Ashbourne team, we knew this was going to happen. Michael O'Sullivan is out playing in the half forward line. He's wearing number 6, but you will see him drop into the half back line as well, Davey, at some stage during the game. So really good hurler. They're trying to get him on the ball in a little bit of space, but at some stage you might see him drop and sweep around the half back line.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a conscious decision possibly by Trim to get Ennis out the field, maybe playing against that Breeze in the first half and get his influence steadily growing early in the contest. He's already got 2 points, so do Trim, and Henry Clifford has awarded them a free inside their own half back line. We have 3 minutes gone on the clock here in Park Talton. As I said, huge day for the Trim club. They're looking to make it an historic double to follow up with minor and senior success. A club going from strength to strength over the last number of years, and they're going from strength to strength in this particular attack. This is lovely stick work and a nice ball played inside, but it's going to trickle all the way through to the Donaghmore Ashbourne goalkeeper Sean Ward, who was confident in what he was doing. Few little gasps in and around the area, but lovely nonchalant play this time by Derry Sullivan. He did extremely well to flick that one, and it's a nice ball inside as well, and a chance for Ashbourne to maybe muster their first score. Battling in there is Evan O'Kane. He's trying to shovel the ball off, and he's managed to do so. He shifted it across to his left, and there's a chance for Donaghmore Ashbourne. Good block down by Trim, who are getting back in numbers and defending stoutly in these early stages, but Donaghmore Ashbourne have it back, and it's the man that Colm singled out just a matter of moments ago who has the opportunity. O'Sullivan still going. O'Sullivan going to lash this goalwards, gets a point, and that's a settler for Donaghmore Ashbourne. Good score by O'Sullivan, and just as you said, Colm, we're going to see him further up the pitch. He's influenced things already.
Absolutely, and a good decision to put him up there on that evidence, certainly. And you know, Michael, he has all the skills there as well, and good to get on the scoreboard early there just to settle any nerves that there might be.
Absolutely, and they've managed to win possession back from the Trim puck out as well, and trying to build on that score, just settling in. It's obviously a huge occasion for the Donaghmore Ashbourne club, first ever minor final, and this is a huge one coming in, and it's batted down by the goalkeeper. He didn't really collect it all that clean, but he recovered extremely well to maintain possession and avoid a potentially hairy moment back there, Owen O'Reilly. But Ashbourne are full of it at the moment, and they're trying to orchestrate some more moves up front, and battling for possession over on the far side there is Jack Keenan with his compatriot Sean McKenna. They're wrestling for possession, and they've almost got it back, but good defending on that occasion by Dara Smith to come out with it, and Smith offloads to Curley, who plays it up the line, but possession loose and available once again, but Trim have it, and they switch the point of the attack from right to left. Nice ball across into space, and this is where Trim are potentially dangerous when they get that space to orchestrate things, and Kyle Ennis has been snuffed out on this occasion. Good defending by Donnelly back there on this occasion, and he managed to find Keane Dowling now, and ball going to be played into space. Not the best of connections, but possession still there for Donaghmore Ashbourne, but it is picked up by Trim, and it's the number 26 Douglas who clears his lines and plays it long into space, and again Trim trying to battle for possession, but Donaghmore Ashbourne have got to grips with them in the last couple of moments. They certainly are winning a lot of those 50-50s, and that's going to bode well for them going forward. Heavily involved in the early stages has been Oisin Daly. He's trying to gather possession there for Donaghmore Ashbourne, but it's Trim who are battling admirably for it, and Slattery is down to help out. Here's Ennis, and he's just lost his foot, and Kyle Ennis did manage to get some sort of purchase on the ball, but Donaghmore Ashbourne will have the free, and these are the kind of rucks and 50-50s that you feel are quite psychological and important, particularly in the early stages.
They're very important, Dave, because you know yourself when you're after working very hard, and if you lose the ball out of that, or if the other team gets a free, it can be psychologically damaging. But if you come away with a free, it can really lift the team. Really delighted with the work rate there for around that half back line from the Donaghmore Ashbourne point of view, from a purely neutral view, of course, from my stance. So a chance for Michael O'Sullivan. A lot of distance on this, bit of a breeze coming left to right. Let's see how he gets on.
It's a good strike by O'Sullivan. He's got plenty on it, and it's dropping dangerously in and around the house. Goalkeeper sort of missed that initially, and just about made a drastic move to his right to get something on it, because I think it may have been dropping in towards the goal, but Donaghmore Ashbourne still have a chance of a score with Gavin Jones. He just couldn't collect it at the first time of asking. He's been swarmed by three Trim men, but possession still there for the Moors, and they're trying to find a little bit of space. Shot from over the shoulder is dropping again, and it's batted down well by the goalkeeper for Trim, Owen O'Reilly. He's been heavily involved in the early stages, and fairness to him, he's protecting his goal well. There's been a few awkward deliveries in there, and he's been commanding with them, Colm.
Yeah, he's done well. I mean, they can be dodgy balls. It's a wet day. You might probably can't see it on the camera here, but there's a bit of grease on the ball. There is a little bit of drizzle out there, and he's doing fine. Now, interestingly, maybe Donaghmore Ashbourne, if they drop the ball a little bit shorter, we have Evan O'Kane there, who's been absolutely flying in training recently. A big man, good target man, so maybe if they're a little bit shorter, they might get a bit more change there, because Owen O'Reilly in the goals is doing well with those balls coming in.
Sideline cut goes astray for Donaghmore Ashbourne, and it's picked up by Douglas over on the far side, but still there for Donaghmore Ashbourne, the men in green, who have dominated the possession and trying to engineer a free. That's a lovely improvised effort, but it's just gone to the left and wide from the stick of Jack Keenan. So first wide for Donaghmore Ashbourne in this game. We have played almost 8 minutes, and Trim still managed to lead 2-1, courtesy those quick fire points in the early stages from Kyle Ennis. But Donaghmore Ashbourne have got to grips with it, and they have settled. But I suppose with that bit of a breeze, Colm, it's important to try and get scores on the board and to convert possession into scores, really.
Absolutely, yeah. And Trim at some stage from Donaghmore Ashbourne's point of view will come into the game very strong. So like you said, need to get that possession. They've had the lion's share of possession, the territory I suppose as you might say in rugby, so a couple of more scores would be certainly desirable, but a good start, a good game of hurling, Davy. Both teams really going at it, a lot of physical contests which we really like to see in Meath hurling as well.
Yeah, and we can't stress enough how difficult conditions are out there, because the rain is going to be continuous pretty much for the whole afternoon, we think, and it's going to deteriorate as the afternoon progresses, which is probably going to culminate in a very error-ridden maybe senior game, but two quality outfits to come later on in the afternoon. Long ball from Donaghmore Ashbourne played up into space, and again they're trying to battle for possession over there, but once more Trim, in fairness to them, are getting on top back there and doing Trojan work defensively. Has been Dara Smith in the early stages. He played a lovely ball into space where he's tried to find his corner forward Aiton, and he was fouled as he was trying to escape the attentions of the Donaghmore Ashbourne players, so it's going to be a free into them just about outside the 45 for Kyle Ennis, but a very favourable chance for a man of Ennis's calibre to get his third consecutive point for Trim and put a little bit of daylight between the sides again. He's just drying the hurl and drying the slater, because it is going to be one of those days, and that breeze is very difficult to contend with, but he has been striking them extremely well early in the piece, and this is another chance for him to add to his tally and keep Trim in the ascendancy. So it's Ennis stalked by the linesman Martin Dawson. Ennis hits that. It seems to be just tailing off to the right and wide, and it is. It's a first wide for Trim, first wide for Ennis, and I think the strength of the breeze illustrated there, that crossfield breeze column, the ball just tailed away in the end.
Exactly, yeah. I think he was trying to play for a little bit, but maybe a little bit stronger than he thought. But like you said, Davey, discipline is going to be important in these games, because maybe in conditions like this, frees are going to be very important. So whoever can minimise the amount of frees they give away, and who can ever score those frees, will be very important.
What a take by Cassidy, and he's trying to play an unbelievable ball inside, but it just didn't go to hand. That would have been some score if it came off. It was an absolutely terrific fetch in the midfield by the big midfielder, and he deserved more for that, and indeed the pass that he put in towards Carty, but Carty just couldn't get it under his spell, and Donaghmore Ashbourne live to fight another day in this particular move. Nice ball inside towards the nippy corner forward McKenna, but McKenna is well snuffed out, not for the first time, by Smith. Smith plays it long into space, not the best of balls though for their corner forward, and it's well snuffed out on this occasion by Donaghmore Ashbourne, but they've been penalised for taking too many steps on this occasion. Dane and Donnelly probably a little bit unlucky on that occasion, Colin. I'm not sure he probably took too much out of it, but Henry Clifford was confident of giving the free the other way.
It's one of those, Davies, you probably see about 10 or 11 times in matches during the year. He probably did take maybe the 6 steps. Normally you get away with it, but in fairness, the referee playing by the rules there.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Clifford, a busy man. Garden Longwood, of course. He's been on duty for the ladies' final yesterday, and he's back on duty today. 2 huge games for Henry Clifford. He's been anchored by Martin Dawson on the sideline on this near hand side in the first half, and this is another opportunity for Ennis. He cuts across that one, and he's found his range this time around. Almost identical sort of angle to the one in which he missed a matter of moments ago, and that's a real hallmark of a good free taker, Colin. I suppose learned from his mistake the last time, set it out a little bit further left and drew it in on the breeze. Lovely score.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Davey, I was actually looking at the sideline flags there, and I thought they were stronger for that one, which, like you said, it shows that he adjusted, he learned from the last one, which shows good maturity for a young lad.
3-1 Trim now. We have played 12 minutes in this first half, and Donaghmore Ashbourne, as we stressed, with the breeze, I know there's a little bit of an asterisk beside the breeze because it is blowing across the pitch, but it would definitely be favouring them in the first half, so they really do need to try and make hay. I won't say when the sun shines, but you get my gist. And here go Trim once again with Casserly striding forward with real purpose and intent, dishing it off to his fellow midfielder Heffernan now. Trying to engineer a little bit of space for himself. It's a lovely cute ball played up sides to their wing forward, and it's great defending back there. Absolutely terrific from Mackey, the wing forward. Drop it back into space. It's only gone as far as Douglas. Douglas swings the hurl at it, trying to get some purchase on it, but it's broken down favourably for Donaghmore Ashbourne once again, and Oisin Daly, Brian Thomas's men, trying to live with Trim in these early stages in this opening quarter, but Trim are the team on top at this particular moment in time, and they're trying to build on their lead now, and they're going to have a chance possibly to do so. Awkward looking ball, but an effective one as well, going into the path of Aiton. He cuts inside, doesn't get the sufficient purchase on that, and it's good goalkeeping, really good command and goalkeeping on that occasion by Sean Ward to clear his lines. Spilled by Owen Ryan, and just flicked forward really. And good dispossession though, and he was the judge to have stamped down with the hurl, so it is going to be a free to Donaghmore Ashbourne. Colm, just talk to you about Donaghmore Ashbourne and the whole project of hurling and where it's got to from where it was being. You've obviously played hurling for years for Donaghmore Ashbourne, but this must be a really proud day for the club to see a club contesting a minor Division 1 final.
It is a really proud day, Davy, and it's all really due to credit from people in the underage. There's too many people really there that are involved in it for me to name, because I'd leave someone out if I did. But this whole idea of teams playing both codes, Davy. So there's no just football or just hurling team. It's both. You either play both or you don't play any at all. Now, there are obviously some people who might play one or the other, but it's about that dual aspect of the club, and it's really coming through, as you can see here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael O'Sullivan illustrating that in case in point with a fantastically executed free to put just 1 point between the sides again. It's now 3 points to Trim, 2 points to Donaghmore Ashbourne. O'Sullivan looking particularly dangerous for the men in green early in the piece. Trim trying to respond in kind. Long ball in towards Ennis, who's playing a little bit closer to goals now, and he's a big, strong, sort of powerful full forward, and this would be an absolutely fantastic score if he could get it, and I think that's hanging on. That's an absolutely brilliant effort by Kyle Ennis. He's a supremely talented player, Colm. Lovely stick work and skill, and a fine finish to boot.
And the confidence, Davy, to stick the ball on the stick and to hit it off the stick, again, not to overemphasise it, but in these conditions, it's excellent stuff there from Ennis.
Absolutely. Kyle Ennis is a man on form today for Trim, and he's added to their lead. He's made it a 2 point game again, 4 points to 2. Ball into space, spilled once again, but Trim, in fairness, are probably handling the conditions marginally better at this moment in time. Their handling has been somewhat better than Donaghmore Ashbourne, and they have a chance again to put clear daylight between the sides. There hasn't been more than 2 points between the sides at any stage of this game. Kyle Ennis is going to be presented with the opportunity of making it a 3 point game now, and again he's just drying the slitter, and he'll do likewise with his hurl, just to take every precaution and get the grip right so he can try and execute yet another score for Trim.
I think, Davy, that Trim are moving the ball a little bit quicker. I think Donaghmore Ashbourne may be a little bit ponderous, maybe trying to put the ball through the hands. Don't know if it's the day for that. You see Trim moving the ball quickly, trying to get it into the inside forward line, into the danger men. So maybe if Donaghmore Ashbourne can move it a bit quicker, I think they might get more change.
Straight between the posts from Kyle Ennis, no mistake, literally black spot territory, and he's causing all sorts of problems for Donaghmore Ashbourne in there, and they don't really know whether to stick or twist with him because he's fluctuating between the full forward line and midfield from time to time, and I won't say nobody's marking him, but nobody's really getting to grips with him, and that possibly is a conscious decision that Brian Thomas and his management team will need to make soon. So it's going to be a puck out for Sean Ward. Ward goes long, over across towards the terrace side, and it's broken down favourably for Donaghmore Ashbourne on this occasion. Possibly an appeal for a free, but possession loose and available, bit of a ruck, and that's really good, strong play to come out with it for Donaghmore Ashbourne and play a long ball. It was lovely, batted down by Aaron O'Rourke. Possession is back with Trim and Dara Smith. Smith with a risky enough but high reward sort of ball across to Douglas. Douglas, confident strike inside towards the full forward line, and it's broken out favourably for Ayton, and he just nonchalantly clips it over the bar. Confidently done, and again Trim adding to their lead, making it 6 points to 2 now. 17 minutes are gone.
Yeah, it's looking anonymous here for Donaghmore Ashbourne. Interesting, I see a sub warming up. This is a man here with great talent, a fantastic golfer actually, Davey, is Jodev Punchin. And he hasn't really been involved too much all year, but maybe they identified we need to get this man on. We've a bit of trouble in the full back line, so Joe Dev comes on, and it's heartbreak there for is it Matthew Chute who's coming off?
Donnelly, I think.
Donnelly, yeah, but difficult couple of days for him, but I'm sure he'll recover and become a good hurler for this club in the future. Absolutely.
So Pushing is on. We're in number 22, and he's going to go on to the corner forward Ayton, who just had got the last point for Trim. So Ward with the puck out, and he goes once again towards the far side, but it's broken down favourably once more for Trim, and they're striding forward with more purpose and intent. Ball recycled back outside towards Dara Heffernan. Heffernan has a bit of space to move into, and Heffernan tries to hit it instinctively, but it's good defending and credit to Oisin Daly, who got back and stalked him all the way and got his stick in, but it's a poor clearance really, and it's just gone towards Ty Carty, who was probably guilty of having too much time on the ball on that occasion, and he couldn't get it under his spell. But Trim still looking like they have it. That's a lovely interception by Donaghmore Ashbourne, who need to try and get moving now with Gavin Jones, but it's given away once more, and it's there for Trim. And Daniel Murray, ball squirts loose towards Curley, and I think Henry Clifford is just going to throw this one in, and possibly made contact with the referee, so he's going to throw it in between Carty and Moran, the respective number 11s, and Donaghmore Ashbourne have it. They need to try and, as you say, Colin, move the ball quicker, because they are a little bit more ponderous than Trim are, and they're getting caught in possession. It's not a day for trying to overcomplicate things, really.
Exactly, yeah, and I like the premise behind it. Maybe keep possession, but maybe on a day like today, like you said, Davey, try and get it into the inside forward line, get it out to the wings. Interestingly there, Fionn Hogan was carrying an ankle injury, Davey, and he couldn't tug out today, so he was supposed to be the fullback, maybe looking at to cover Kyle Ellis. So maybe that's a glaring sort of missing position that they would have liked to have had today, so a big loss there. I think Fionn Hogan isn't playing.
Speaking of glaring miss, he's been almost flawless with his frees, and that was easily the most presentable opportunity that he's had, but Kyle Ennis lets that one away, so it's still 6 points to 2, but Trim are once again on the attack and trying to orchestrate things, and good defending once more back there by Donaghmore Ashbourne, firefighting with Moran, the centre half forward, certainly not playing as a centre half forward. A nice ball into space. Now what could they produce? It's Keenan, he did extremely well to claim that, dishes it off to his fellow corner forward McKenna tries to play it across to the far side, but he's overhit it, and that probably just sums up this first 20 minutes for Donaghmore Ashbourne, Colin. That final ball just not going to hand.
Yeah, and I was happy to see Patrick Moore in there just drive it down, and did well to win it inside, but then maybe they went back to the short ball. I just see Evan O'Kane there sitting on the square one-on-one. I'd love to see more balls going into him.
Yeah, I think that'll have to be the order there from here on in, because Donaghmore Ashbourne, even at this early stage, you'd suggest that they might need a major before half time. Douglas with the sideline cut, not the best of connections, and it's picked up by Donaghmore Ashbourne and their number 17 Sullivan. Back and turn, and again the intricate sort of handled play is just not working for them, and they, as you say, probably need to go a little bit more direct, Colin, and I think that's exactly the case in point from their management team down below us. But the Trim management team with Declan Murray and Alan Ennis will be more than pleased with their side start to this game. They've dominated the first third of this game, and are good value for their 4-point lead at this stage. But still, on a day like that, it's a perilous enough one, and you just feel the first goal, whoever can get it, is going to be crucial on a day like today. But no real major goal opportunities as of yet. Few little half chances. Trim again trying to defend and box Donaghmore Ashbourne in, but they're going through the hands once again. They're confident in what they want to do. Gavin Jones feeding it forward this time to Oisín Daly, and just now Ashbourne have a little bit of space, and stick was brought across the man, and it is going to be a free in, and a real chance for them to, I suppose, stop the rot here, with Michael McIver fouled on that occasion, and this is a big free coming up.
Yeah, McIver's a really industrious player there, along with Cian Dowling and Oisín Daly, working hard in the middle of the field. On that occasion, they have to put a lot of work in to get opportunities like this, but I did see Michael O'Sullivan dropping into the half back line. I think that's a good idea, just maybe covering across the Trim full forward line, just to maybe cut the ball out that's coming into them, but obviously Michael still has to come up and take the frees.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got their first 2 points. Can he make it a hat-trick of scores? I think he can with consummate ease. Lovely finish by O'Sullivan, and for all of Trim's dominance, it's only a 3-point game now, 6 points to 3, so Donaghmore Ashbourne certainly playing second fiddle, but there's only one score between them, and they've managed to win possession back from the Trim puck out, and Henry Clifford has his arm aloft, so he's going to be giving them another free and a chance for O'Sullivan to possibly get another one on quick fire points, and just edging their way back into the contest.
Absolutely, it's good work there from Mackey. He's a big man, he's strong, he's physical as well, that time bursting through the tackle. Trim lads are big as well, but if we can get the likes of Patrick Moore and Aidan Mackey and Michael McIver, they're all big lads across that half forward line. They'll create chances there and maybe win frees for Michael O'Sullivan to put over.
Sullivan standing over this one underneath us, just in the centre of the pitch. He hasn't struck this one as well as he struck other ones, and the ball is dropped short. It was spilled initially by Trim, but cleared on the second time of asking, and that's a nice ball up the line as well to pick out their midfielder Casserly. and he was hooked well, but I think Henry Clifford was possibly playing an advantage for an earlier foul, so it's going to be a free pull back for Douglas to take, or possibly it's a sideline cut actually. I think it might just be a free.
I think he was playing advantage all right, Davey. Yeah, just maybe some dragging back as he was soloing the ball.
Nice ball from Douglas, across the pitch, and he's found his centre half forward Carty over the shoulder trying to swing it, but he was well blocked down on that occasion, and O'Sullivan clears his lines, and it's a long ball into space, and trying to create a little bit of pandemonium in there, but it doesn't work for them on this occasion, and once more it's picked up by the influential Douglas, who plays it long into space, and Trim trying to get runners off the shoulder, and Ennis is inevitably in and around it, and this guy has all the flicks and tricks, but he's been well snuffed out on this occasion, and Donaghmore Ashbourne have a free. It was lovely to watch initially by Ennis, but sheer weight of numbers won that ball back for the Ashbourne side.
Absolutely, he has all the skills, Ennis. He's great to watch really, but as we saw, Michael O'Sullivan there covering that half back line, he's there to cover. What you will sacrifice then is the extra man in the forward line as well, David. So we saw there where the ball was driven down previously, Trim had the extra number, but Michael O'Sullivan, really fit fella, good, excellent footballer, plays with the Meath Miners and will be playing for the footballers in Dunboyne Ashbourne in the final next week as well.
Absolutely. Looking for a historic double themselves over in Dunboyne Ashbourne. That free was just dropped on the 14-metre line and picked up once again by Trim, who are mopping up a lot of that ball in their own full back line, and they're trying to break a pace. That was really good corner back play though, absolutely terrific that time, and it's fed forward in turn by Patrick Moran, but it's back with Trim once more. Moran really attacked that aggressively, but there's still a chance for Trim here, and Carty is trying to engineer some space for himself. Carty again didn't get the right connection on it, and it's going to go harmlessly through to Sean Ward there, who's been chased by a couple of Trim men, and that was a really nice intricate ball, high risk but yet again high reward, and they've won the sideline over on the far side, and they've a chance to maybe clear their lines now as well. 6 points to 3. We have 4.5 minutes of normal time left to go in this opening period. Not the highest of scoring games, and I think that's to be expected, but as Colin was saying, it's quite entertaining. Sides pretty evenly matched as well, and not much in it.
Yeah, and I think from a Donaghmore Ashbourne point of view, Brian Thomas there, Jim Ryan and Eamon will be happy enough with only being 3 points down. Maybe Trim, like you said, Davey, have had the lion's share of possession, but Donaghmore Ashbourne are keeping into it, and like you said, maybe they might get an onion bag later on in the game, and that could change everything.
Yeah, disappointing wide on that occasion by Trim. Another chance goes a begging for them. They had a little bit of space to try and move into, but that one harmlessly drops to the right and it goes wide, so it's going to be a restart for Sean Ward with 4 minutes of normal time left to go in this opening period. Can't imagine there'll be a whole pile of injury time as well, because the ball has been in play for 99% of the time, but striding forward with real menace now is Aaron O'Rourke. O'Rourke scoops that ball forward nicely, and the effort coming in trying to get the flick back on it, but he can't do so it's another wide, this time via the stick of Dara Heffernan, and these chances are starting to mount for Trim all of a sudden, whereas earlier in the half they were all going over, they're all going wide now.
Yeah, exactly, and I know they have all the possession, but you can't take anything for granted. I mean, Donaghmore Ashbourne will keep battling and keep fighting in this game, and what I like about Donaghmore Ashbourne is they've made a lot of changes, Davey. They've moved lads around, they've brought Evan O'Kane out to midfield, he wasn't getting too much ball in the full forward line. They've put in there Michael McIver into the full forward line, see if he can get some change. Done that Michael O'Sullivan switch, they brought on Joe Dev in the full back line, so good work from the Donaghmore Ashbourne management.
Here's a chance for them as well. It was an instinctive effort by Keenan, but he was snuffed out on that occasion. Shot probably wasn't on, but again, when you're not getting too many opportunities as a corner forward, you tend to maybe snatch at them when you do get the opportunity. So Trim, with Douglas going to clear his lines from the free, has put loads on that, and it's batted down behind himself on that occasion by Patrick Moran, but again O'Sullivan is there to pick up the pieces for Donaghmore Ashbourne and clear his lines. He's a very talented player, really intricate sort of player as well, lovely to watch on the ball, and he orchestrates everything from that centre half back position. Bit of a ruck on the ground, possession loose and available, and Henry Clifford is just stalking it, ready to possibly blow at any stage, but Trim have come out of the crowd with the ball, and they're going forward here with real adventure, and there's a chance of a score here, and it was potentially a pull down. It's still there for Trim. Ennis picks it up. It's Ennis with the chance. Oh, lovely little flick over by Sean Ward. I think that was going in. And Kyle Ennis certainly went for the goal, but it took a little bit of a touch from the goalkeeper to divert it over.
It looked like he got a touch all right there. Good work from Sean Ward. He's been very solid in goal all year for Donaghmore Ashbourne. I thought Trim maybe could have got a free there as the man was running in. Maybe it could have worked out better for Trim. They could have got a goal out of it, but maybe let off for Donaghmore Ashbourne there with the point.
Absolutely, it was Calum Casserly who went through initially, and there's just a man down needing a little bit of treatment. It is a Donaghmore Ashbourne player, just slowly but surely getting back to his knees rather gingerly, but I think he'll be absolutely fine to continue. We have about 90 seconds of normal time plus whatever stoppage time Henry Clifford decides to add in this first half. 7 points to 3 in favour of the Trim men, who are going for their 4th minor championship in just 5 years, which is some going really, and this sort of graduation of players through to their senior ranks has been evidenced by the fact that they have a whole host of players who have competed in recent minor finals lining out for their seniors later on today when they take on Ratoath at 2:30 in Park Talton. But here it's all about the minors and the stars of the future, and Daniel Murray thought he was going to take that, so just one additional minute going to be played. We aren't into stoppage time just yet, so we still have the guts of 2 minutes left to play in this half, and Kyle Ennis is across to take this free on his own 65 right underneath us. Very difficult shot, obviously distance wise, but also in terms of where the ball is located, but he's certainly going to have a stab at this, Ennis, and he just shrugs the shoulders and goes through his usual routine. Gets serious purchase on that, Kyle Ennis, and that's dropping brilliantly over the bar. That's an outstanding score by Kyle Ennis. He needed every single yard of that, Colin, but what an effort, execution perfect, and the distance to boot. It's a wonderful score.
It's an incredible level of striking, Davy, for 17 years of age to be able to stick that over from 80 metres or 75 metres, whatever it was. Very, very impressive. What a player.
What a player is right. 8 points to 3 now, and you just feel that maybe Donaghmore Ashbourne might need the half-time interval, because Trim are trying to build on their lead now, and the respective number 11s are going to battle for possession here with Moran and Carty. Moran is the man to pick it up, but then loses control of it, and Carty is trying to win it back for Trim, and he has done so over on the far side. Carty's content to lash it back, and it comes to their number 9 in midfielder. Umpires take a really good look at that, and it's just gone to the right and wide from Casserly on this occasion. So we have about 25 seconds left of injury time. Henry Clifford has a little look at his watch, and Donaghmore Ashbourne almost getting into a bit of a that was a nice play in the end by Putchett, but he was probably fortunate in maybe getting away with that. Can Donaghmore Ashbourne get a score before half time? They badly need one too, and trying to stride on, and he has got the free, Evan O'Kane. We need to see more of that from Evan O'Kane. We need to see more of that for Donaghmore Ashbourne, but there's a big free coming up, and it'll be the last puck at the half column.
Yeah, exactly, and I think the extra man there, maybe that Trim, because Michael O'Sullivan is dropping back, the extra man that Trim have is just blocking up the space there. So, like you said, Davey, that is what the lads, the Donaghmore Ashbourne inside forward line need to do. They need to take on a man, they need to break the tackle. If they're fouled, O'Sullivan should punish them from the free.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be from a tight angle, and O'Sullivan just given the green light, I think, to take this. Evan O'Kane is going to vacate the free and leave it for the aforementioned O'Sullivan, who's contributed all of their points so far. He's got 3, he'll be hoping to make it 4 and put 4 between the sides at half time. It's a pressure free even at this early stage, but it's one that this guy, you'd imagine, would fancy taking. So O'Sullivan steps up, acute angle. He'll want to just directly hit this goalwards. It might just hang on, and it has done so. Wonderful score by O'Sullivan. He's got 4. Donaghmore Ashbourne have 4, but crucially, Colm, Trim have a 4-point lead, 8 points to 4, but it's still all to play for.
Yeah, the tale of the half, Davey, is that Trim are clearly the stronger side. We probably knew that was always going to happen, that Trim would have more possession, but maybe they haven't done enough with it. Maybe the Trim management team won't be that happy despite being 4 points up. Donaghmore Ashbourne, they worked with what they had, I suppose, Davey. Maybe they didn't have too many chances. They could have created more. They didn't get too much ball in the inside forward line. You feel Donaghmore Ashbourne really need a goal, and it's going to be important for the Donaghmore Ashbourne management team to see what can they do to get a goal here, because Trim will score all day and maybe Donaghmore Ashbourne need to manufacture something to hit the back of the net.
We're going to take a little bit of a siesta and we'll see, can Donaghmore Ashbourne find that elusive goal that Colin was talking about in about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll be back for second half commentary and footage from Park Talton. It's Trim versus Donaghmore Ashbourne, with Trim leading at half time 8 points to 4. Oh no. You're very welcome back to Park Talton, where the second half of this year's Minor Division 1 Hurling Championship final is about to recommence, with Trim leading by 8 points to 4. Henry Clifford just going into check with his umpires, possibly. I'm not sure if he's not wired up right or something like that. So it's Trim holding all the aces, leading by 4. They'll be playing with the aid of the elements as well in this second half, and as you say, Colm, that elusive goal is something that Donaghmore Ashbourne are going to have to seek and try and eke out, but also a fast start to the second half is desirable.
Yeah, and I see that Michael O'Sullivan is straight away, like he finished the first half, he's going in there across the half back line. He's not even making an illusion of starting in the half forward line. He's going straight in there as an extra man. So I think that's a good decision from the manager of Donaghmore. Leave him there. Well, actually now I see them telling him to go into the half forward line, but I would say leave him there for 10-15 minutes, let the second half settle down, then maybe push Michael O'Sullivan up, see can you get an out goal in the second half.
Yeah, I think the aim for Donaghmore Ashbourne in this third quarter will be to stay in touch, just hang on to Trim's coattails and try and put a few seeds of doubt into their head entering that final quarter. We shall see if that develops or not. Trim are straight onto the attack early in the piece, and they're trying to work a score here. First off with the midfielder. Oh, Kyle Ennis has almost got that ball. There's sticks on the ground, but Donaghmore Ashbourne last ditch defending back there. It's still not cleared though, and it's picked up well by Carty, who swings a leg at it, and it's just gone to the left and wide. Some dodgy moments back there though, Colm, early in the piece, and Kyle Ennis was inevitably involved in it.
Absolutely, a let off there for Donaghmore Ashbourne. I'm not sure how that's not a 65 there for Trim, because I think the kick there from was it Ty Carty there, I'm sure it was deflected off Donaghmore Ashbourne defender, so certainly a let off for Donaghmore Ashbourne there. Trim are on the attack again though, Davey.
Trim are on the attack again, and they've got their midfielder bursting forward with real intent and purpose, and he's played it off. Gonna try and get the shot off on this occasion. Has he got the score? Indeed he has. It's a great start to the second half for Trim. And we're having to dodge all sorts of obstacles coming our way, call him up here, but Dara Heffernan gets Trim moving in the second half. 9 points to 4 now they lead. We've played just over a minute in this second half, and Donaghmore Ashbourne under pressure once again from their own kick out, or puck out rather. Carty battling for possession, and Douglas trying to weigh in with something, and here's Carty now, comes out from the crowd, and a big hate coming in, but Carty just bounces off him, and he's still trying to stride forward, and he was being hauled back. He's been held onto, so it is a free for Trim and a chance for them to put really clear daylight between the sides. Now it would be a 6-point game if Ennis can do the needful here, Colm.
Yeah, good work from Ty Carty. He's really started this second half really well. I thought it was a great hit from Mackey, like you said, Davey, but maybe just pulled after that. Maybe a little bit harsh with the free, I'm not sure, but again, probably not the start that Donaghmore Ashbourne wanted, but it is the start that Trim wanted. They wanted to get those couple of scores early just to extend that lead.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be Kyle Ennis to step up from the free. The thing I love about this guy is every free he takes the utmost care with, and it's the hallmarks of a really good player, but also a free taker. Can he do the needful? Indeed he can. He just lashes that ball over the bar and makes it a 6-point game. 10 points to 4 now. 2.5 minutes gone in this second half, and Donaghmore Ashbourne, if their task was big at half time, it's just increased in volume quite considerably at the start of the second half. They need to try and retain possession from their own puck out. That's been an issue throughout, and Sean Ward is going to switch the point of the attack across to the far side for Gavin Jones to try and compete with, but he's relinquished possession once again, and it's going to be a sideline cut to Trim with Douglas across to try and get some purchase and distance on this cut. I think it's Eamon Barry on the far side, sideline official, and it's a decent one, but it's well cut out at source by Aidan Mackey. As Colm said, an industrious player. He cuts across that one, was looking for the runner across from Sullivan. Another good hit coming in this time by the midfielder for Donaghmore Ashbourne, Oisin Daly, and Daly plays it up at the space, and now Donaghmore Ashbourne could try and orchestrate something with Sullivan. Slight player but very delicate, and nice player to watch on the ball as well when he gets a little bit of time and space, but Trim not affording Donaghmore Ashbourne too much time and space because they've won it back yet again. But it's a scrappy period of the game, and Michael O'Sullivan is trying to get his hands on the ball, and he's done well initially to try and get that, but Trim somehow come out with it, and their big midfielder Heffernan once more, and that's going to be a line ball to Trim. Just a bit of a scrappy period of the play.
A little bit scrappy, probably the greasy ball not helping the situation. Again, Donaghmore were maybe trying to play the ball a little short. I understand maybe that there's an extra man back there. Maybe if they can get the ball into the full forward line, get some time for the strike and drive it in.
Yep. And it's going to be a cut for Dara Heffernan. He's going to take this one instead of Douglas. Going to try his luck at this one, and he's got an absolutely wonderful connection on that. It's seemingly carrying almost right the way through, and Sean Ward almost overshot the runway there, but did well to backtrack and get a touch on it. That was some connection though.
Unbelievable. The skill from these lads is incredible, Davy. Myself at 35 years of age, I wouldn't be able to strike a ball like that, or even strike the ball the way Kyle Ennis struck it from 80 metres previously. So really high level of skill on show here. Modest
as ever, Colin. I seen you in your day. You weren't too bad now, in fairness. So it's going to be Kyle Ennis with a huge career in front of him, no doubt, and he's going to try to add to his tally from this 65, leading by 10 points to 4. 5 minutes gone in the second half, and he's dead straight in front of the post. Very presentable sort of opportunity for Ennis. Martin Dawson just telling the watching brigade to just withdraw ever so slightly. Ennis takes his few yards. He puts a lot of height and distance on that one. I think it's into the O'Mahony's end at that stage, but it's a score nonetheless for Ennis. He adds to his tally and Trim add to theirs. 11-4 now, and you just feel that this game is getting away from Donaghmore Ashbourne, Colin.
You do, and it's hard to know really how they can come out of it. Maybe it's just a case of go for broke and push Michael O'Sullivan on into the half forward line, maybe change the tactics around a little bit. It's hard to know, but Trim are just a really good side. But Donaghmore Ashbourne will certainly battle hard, David. There's no question about this. These are good, fit young lads, really into this game, and they'll do their clubs proud today.
Yeah, and they have done as well, and you know, as you say, they're still battling, but the quality from Trim is starting to show, and the latest one comes in via the hurl of Dara Heffernan, and he's a really impressive player. Big physical presence, like for a 17-year-old. I mean, he's a huge man, even at this early stage, and probably not even fully developed at this stage.
Sure is, and the socks up style as well probably adds to that physical element to it. But noticeably, Davy, Trim are missing a few shots, as you pointed out, towards the end of the first half. They're not missing them anymore, Davy. The ball is going over the bar. They've found their range, and that's why they're opening up that lead in the scoreboard.
Yeah, and the breeze behind them is giving them confidence and a little bit more licence to hit from further out the field than maybe they did in the first half. Foot race on here, and Carty looks like he's won the battle against Moran, but incredibly Moran somehow got back at him, and it's a good tussle between the respective number 11s, but Carty engineers some space for himself, then plays a ball laterally across to his corner forward. That ball is shovelled towards the Trim man in question, and it does eventually find its destination, with Casserly trying to burrow his way through, but he was adjudged to have taken too many steps, and it is going to be a free out for Donaghmore Ashbourne. Just a chance to get some respite back there, because they've been under serious duress for the first 7 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, it can be tough, Davey, when you're a defender and you're trying to drive the ball out and it just keeps coming back on top of you. As you say, maybe just a little bit of a breather to let them get their breath back and just settle things down a little bit.
Yeah. O'Sullivan is going to launch this one as long and hard as he possibly can, and he gets good distance on it, but once again Trim mop up in that half back line, and that was a loose connection there on that occasion by Sullivan, and Henry Clifford may have to do a little bit of paperwork on this occasion. Sullivan would be well advised to just cool it down. He was a little bit late on that occasion.
He was. I don't think there was necessarily any malice on it. It was a little bit reckless though, Davey, and I think certainly a yellow card is probably deserved here.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be anything more than that, and Henry Clifford takes that course of action, and it's a yellow card for Sullivan, the first of the game. Has been played in terrific spirits, and Trim are going to have a free. Nothing untoward with Kyle Ennis across to take this one. He's midway between, by the time in which he hits it, he's going to be midway between the 45 and 65 in his half of the field. But he's eyeing this one up, and on the evidence of the way he's been striking them, this should be thereabouts, and he's hit this. It's a huge one down, and you know by the way the goalkeeper is looking at that one, that's all the way. That's an extraordinary score.
I'm shaking my head here, Davey, because that's stuff that you see in Croke Park, the likes of Pat Cronin or Pat Horgan sticking over the bar, just from that 85 metre range. Obviously the breeze is behind him, but it's the quality of striking there that's just incredible there from Kyle Ennis.
Trim's answer to Aaron Gillan, and he has struck them like Aaron Gillan in this game so far, and O'Sullivan just protesting that the helmet was interfered with on this occasion. Henry Clifford just taking a little bit of paperwork. I'm not sure his the hurl actually broken. Actually, the bottom piece of it has been taken off, so he's going to need a change of helmet.
Yeah, I think the face guard has come off there, Michael O'Sullivan's helmet. It's quite an unusual, you don't see it very often. Hopefully the other helmet that he's got here now that he's just putting on him won't affect him too much, but a good hurler like Michael O'Sullivan, that shouldn't bother him too much.
No, and he has going to get a free as well, so a chance possibly for Donaghmore Ashbourne to get their first score of the second half almost 10 minutes in. He's going to be on his own 65 by the time in which he strikes this, and he is playing against the breeze, so possibly even just dropping in and around the house if he can't get the score. But he's got a decent bit of distance on it. It is going to drop short and spill loose. Possession once again available. Good interception by Dara Smith over on the far side for Trim, and the free is there for a foul coming in on Casserly, so it's going to be a chance for Trim to relieve the pressure now and just try and build on what they've already done. They lead by 9, 13 points to 4, 40 minutes gone, so we have 20 minutes left to play plus some stoppage time. The Trim management team of Declan Murray and Alan Ennis still barking out instructions down there. It's a joint management ticket for Trim, and that's a really strange sort of free that there was no real connection on, but just as well from a Trim standpoint they were on hand, and in fairness to Dara Smith, he was first to the scene to try and clear that, but it's gone out for a sideline ball to Donaghmore Ashbourne. Potentially a hairy moment back there.
It was a funny one, Davey, because I had moved the camera in anticipation that the ball was going to be driven down the field, and I didn't know what was going on. I heard some gas from the audience, but yeah, just a lapse in concentration there from Owen O'Reilly. It shouldn't be a big deal. It was out in the corner, but you never know, from the sideline something could happen.
Lovely cut by Gavin Jones, got good distance on it, but once more Trim are first to the punch, but it has come back to Donaghmore Ashbourne. Shot coming in, dropping dangerously in and around the house. Goalkeeper spilled it, and chance for Donaghmore Ashbourne still to pull on it, but Trim just about escape on this occasion. Owen O'Reilly made up for the initial error, and he has cleared it, but not far, because Donaghmore Ashbourne have it back and they have a chance now surely for a score. It's come out to their number 13. It's dropping dangerously once again, but it's just gone short again from Sean McKenna on this occasion. It's going to go to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's going to burst forward now, real sort of trademark run forward from O'Sullivan, then palms it across to the far side. Can they get the score that they desperately crave? They can't. It's gone to the right and wide, and they have created opportunities in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but they haven't been able to convert them, Colin.
Yeah, they're battling hard, Davey. This is good stuff from Donaghmore Ashbourne. Just as you said though, just need to convert them. We won't get too many more chances in this game, so need to get those scores on the board.
Absolutely. At 13-4 it remains. Donaghmore Ashbourne yet to trouble the scoreboard in this second half, and Trim in that time have really pulled clear of their opponents, and they're trying to add to their tally now with Aiton on the far side, but he's just carried it out over the sideline, so it's going to be a line ball for the Moors, and it's going to be taken by Pushin, who scoops that forward. A chance for Ashbourne to get their hands on the ball once again and trying to build another attack. Good strong play this time, and good spatial awareness as well in picking out Michael O'Sullivan, who was adjudged to have handled that ball on the ground, so it's going to be a free in, and Ennis, almost before the free was blown, was on his way out to take it.
He was, yeah. The confidence strut of him as well. Like you said, he just has that confidence of one of those Trim lads he's working his game. He's been practicing these frees out in the Trim pitch consistently, I imagine. So gets a towel, dries it off, and I wouldn't be surprised if this goes straight over the black spot.
Yeah, he's just going to take his time with it, and sure, is the ball going to be brought up for maybe descent or something like that? I think it is. So it's going to be an easier opportunity now for Ennis to put this between the posts, as if he probably needed it, but it's going to be brought forward 10 or 15 metres, and 13 minutes into the second half, it's a chance to make it a 10-point game. And Ennis strikes this one, and he's actually put it between the posts. It looked for a second that it might have been tailing off to the left and going wide, but it was a really good finish in the end by Kyle Ennis. 14 points to 4 now.